G'day legends, I hope you're all having a fantastic day. The full release for Firmware 23 on the AXFX 3 is out, and it is glorious. You've got gapless switching between scenes, channels, and presets, improvements to the reverb block, the delay block, the trem block, the chorus block. There's a new amp model in here. There is smoothing in the Dyna-Cab selection. Lots and lots of fun stuff. I've previously done videos looking at, say, all the new spring reverb types or the new plates and the new reverb types in previous videos. I'll link those at the end of the video if you want to dive into those in depth, but I did want to do an overview on here with all the fun new stuff. And the headline improvement on here is the fact that you can now switch channels gaplessly and you can switch presets gaplessly on here. So I did do a video rebuilding my main preset on here that you can check out. This is what I ended up with, where normally I would use a control switch to turn the ideal page input boost and fat switch on my favorite amp. I would have like a rotary block and an extra delay block in here, but I was able to simplify a lot of it down to use a single multi-tap delay block for all my different delays and for my rotary sound. I'm just using a single amp block with channel switching on here. I ditched a bunch of other stuff and was able to streamline a bunch of other things on here. So I will very quickly recap on this. Just watch the amp block, because previously, if you changed channels on the amp block, there would be a gap, and now it's gapless. This really unlocks the power of the channels feature on there, because if you want to just have 4 different amp sounds from one block and switch between them, or you wanted the same amp with different settings on it, you can just plug them into the 4 different channels on there and seamlessly switch between them. A little experiment I wanted to do on here was to use presets instead of scenes over here. And what I've done is basically just take all the sounds I would use in that Ragdoll Live preset, and I've just devoted a single preset to each of them. So I'm going to switch my layout down here to a presets layout, and you're going to see the entire preset change. Some of the settings are going to change, blocks are going to come and go, but I can get all those same sounds in there with a massively simplified preset. Now, my personal preference is to have a single preset on here and just switch between everything using scenes. That, as an organizational tool, I'm very, very used to. So I got thinking, why would you want to do this? And I got thinking to a few different applications. One would be if you were using, say, a single AXFX 3 to run multiple guitar players or multiple instrumentalists through. That way, if you needed different sounds, rather than have all the blocks everybody needs in a single preset, which might get close to pushing the limit on here, you can just bring blocks in and out as you go. And if this gets ported to the FM9 and especially the FM3, that will be even more of a game changer on there. And my fingers are crossed for that, especially on the FM3, because you could have really simple little presets on there with maybe 2 or 3 scenes each, and you could just cycle through presets. Say you had lead sound like I had there using a multi-tap delay block, but then you wanted to switch over to using, say, some pitched delays or just a standard delay block, or you wanted a chorus in there, and you never needed 2 of those things at the same time. That would massively streamline the workflow. And I think if you're somebody who is new to multi-effects units and modelers like this, it might make a lot of sense as well. Having the options in there are always great. So seamless switching on there, or gapless switching, I should call it, pretty amazing. I'm so stoked that this has come to the 3. It really, really unlocks even more power on there. It's kind of made the best thing out there even better. Another thing that I've taken a look at in some separate videos are the new reverbs, so let's check some of those out. Before we get started hearing some of the new spring plate and hall reverbs, I've got the Princeton Reverb amp model dialed up with a matching Dyna-Cab. In the cab more section, you can now apply smoothing to the Dyna-Cabs in there. And the way I think about this is, imagine a plot of a typical guitar cabinet impulse response. It's very jagged looking, whereas a typical parametric EQ curve, when you plot it, might look really, really smooth. So this is just taking you from one extreme to another. If you've got a particular Dyna-Cab in there that you generally like, but it sounds maybe a little bit too spicy and spiky, you can apply a little bit of smoothing on there, and it generally goes a long way with just a little bit. Leave that where it is for now. Let's go over and place a reverb block in front of this amp. I'm just going to let you hear the tube spring in here. If you go to the spring tab for these spring reverbs, there's actually now a parameter called drip on there. So this is just the stock settings on here. Might turn the mix up a little bit, then I'll add one of the new trem types that I've also done a separate video about. Gorgeous stuff on there. You can see there's a new neon trem, 2 types of optical tremolo in there, and the standard tremolo has been renamed VCA trem. You've also still got the wonderful bias trem and harmonic trem in there, along with a panner. For the reverbs, you can see a bunch of different spring types: vibrato king spring, studio spring, there's British spring up here, which sounds amazing, and you can also see a whole bunch of other new reverbs. My favorite go-to reverb is this gold plate down here. You actually heard that earlier with my main live preset. Then we've got some awesome big reverbs. This mausoleum is really, really doing it for me. So what I'm going to do is turn off the reverbs before the amp. Let's place the, actually, let's do this. Let's hear the echo pitch plate on here, because this one sounds pretty epic as well for pitched reverbs. There's a new feature which lets you set the tap source for the reverb pre-delay on here to give you really sweet echo verbs on there. Then we'll switch over to the mausoleum. So check this one out. Gold plate has definitely become the great all-rounder for me. It's even surpassed the wonderful London plate on here. But as you can see, there's a reverb for every situation in here. 77 different reverbs in there. That's just in the reverb block. Keep in mind, you've got things like the Plex delay block and the Megatap delay block, which can do reverb style things as well. Absolutely phenomenal. There's some new chorus stuff and some new delay stuff in here as well. I'm going to swap to channel B on here and bring up the new improved tape chorus at stock settings. This one sounds absolutely sick. If, like me, you enjoy your chori, you're going to enjoy this one. You chuck that tape chorus on a big filthy sound and it's absolutely epic as well. I'll just let you hear it without and then with it. Let's keep rolling with that chorus on there. That is greasy and glorious. There's a new delay type in here, and the tape delay has been improved upon. There's this dual head tape. I kind of like this with, say, the head ratio at around 75% and the mix up a little bit. You've always been able to do this with the mono tape delay, but I'm pretty sure that head 2 defaults to having the level off on there. It's nice just being able to fire this up and have an epic dual tape style delay on there. One thing that I like is cranking up the feedback on here and then adding a little bit of feedback on head 2 in the opposite direction, so it will be out of phase on there, and you get this amazing kind of spatial cross feedback. That's pretty epic. Another little tweak in here that's been added is you can attach a modifier to the delay EQ high cut frequency. So I've set the high cut slope here to 12 dB per octave, added a little bit of extra resonance on there. And let's just attach a basic LFO to this, and I'll set the minimum somewhere below 1K and the maximum maybe say around 8K or something like that. So now our delay repeats should have a nice kind of resonant sweep about them. I'm going to crank the mix up on there to do just that. I'm gonna have to spend some more time with that one, but even then, just plugging in some values and setting up a sweep is pretty awesome on there. Attaching that to the envelope of your playing, I imagine would be really, really cool. Or you could have a really short delay time on there and attach that to, say, the pitch modifier, or again, the envelope, and have like a swept chorus or flanger on there. Lots of fun stuff on there. There is a new amp model in here. The Joe Satriani signature models have been overhauled, and they've added one of the green modes on there. Or maybe it's both of the green modes. It's this one. Alright, that is it for today. I think I've hit most of the things that are in the release notes, as well as a few little Easter eggs in there. Go and download this, go and make some noise with it, and let me know how you're enjoying it. I'm loving the new reverbs, the gapless switching, and how it's made me rethink dialing in some sounds. What I find with all of these updates generally is it makes getting a guitar sound that I enjoy faster and faster. And you know, the minimum amount of time between picking up your guitar and making some glorious guitar noises is really what it's all about. So I'd encourage you all to go and try this. Make some noise, enjoy yourselves. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.